Hello! In this video, I'll show you what you can do with EEAttachments, an easy-to-use tool for processing emails and attachments. We will learn how to configure a service connection to Exchange. We will create an export task that can process your messages and attachments. We will select existing scripts that process the messages and their attachments. Additionally, I will explain the available options for the export task. Let's begin with an overview of EEAttachments. After the installation, you find the EEAttachments configurator on your PC. The program consists of two parts. On the one hand, the EEAttachments configurator, and on the other hand, the EEAttachments service, which runs the tasks created from the configurator in the background. When you first start the EEAttachments configurator, you can see that there are two sections. In the top one, you can set the connection to Microsoft Exchange or Exchange Online, like Microsoft 365, Gmail, or MS Graph. In the second one, you can create export tasks, which exports your messages and attachments. Let's configure a service connection to Microsoft 365, where we use the credentials of a test mailbox. Okay, we have successfully connected. Now, let's create an export task using this connection. In the export task, we need to select the inbox or another folder in your mailbox, what we have defined in the connection. Also, we need an export directory in the file system. This is the path where EEAttachments puts the attachments or messages. As next, we can put some filters into the job, like the file extension. Also, there are some regex fields, where you can enter expressions that restricts the exported attachments by name or mails by its subject or from name. Here is an example of how to select only attachments with invoice in the name. In the second field, you can use the same expression as an inverted one. This means it would select only attachments which don't have the word invoice in it. If you need filters which are not in the dialog, you can filter in your PowerShell script as well. As you can see here, you can enter a script that will be executed when an attachment is exported or when a message has been exported. If you need properties of the exported item, you can add the field name into the arguments, which are replaced by the real value. When you use PowerShell, you have the possibility to get the arguments as a variable, which is shown here. You can define scripts or executables when an attachment has been saved, as well as if a message is exported. Okay, now that we have defined a script for processing attachments, let's move on to the messages. As you can see, there are some scripts already in this folder. Let's take this script in order to rename our messages. This script changes the default message name, which is by default an ID, into a human-readable name and structure. In this case, we create a folder with the task name we have defined, as well as the time when the message was received and the from address. The file name will be the subject of the message. Let's see what the other parameters are doing. First, we have the reset status option. This is telling the task to process every message again. If this option is not selected when the task is first started, it will process only messages that arrive the mailbox from this time on. EEAttachment will remove this option when it has determined the current status. The next option you can use if you want to define an attachment filter, so that you don't export all attachments, but you like to process every message. Also those which don't have an attachment or one that match the filter. You can also specify whether the message should be deleted after it has been successfully processed. Then you can add a category to it. The option Add Export Date means that the time when the message was processed is added to the header of the message. Let's enable this option. You can also arrange for the message to be moved to another folder or marked as read. Next, you can specify that the attachments should be exported, or maybe XML if you like to read it like this. As next, you can say that you want to have the message in the file system, which makes sense in our case. The next option allows you to also obtain the body text as a file, and the last one allows you to overwrite files if they already exist on the disk. Now that everything is configured, let's take a look at how it works. Currently, the settings are only in the configurator, so we need to load them into the service and execute them in the background. To do this, we start the service. There are 2 messages in the inbox of our user. Let's see if they arrive in the target folder. Success. As you can see, there are folders with the date, sender, and project name, and the messages are saved in the EEAttachment format. Now, I will send a message with an attachment to this mailbox. The message should arrive in the mailbox, and EEAttachments should detect it and start processing it. Here is the extracted message and the attachment. Everything is working fine, and we can now close the configurator while the service continues to work in the background. That's all for now. If you have further questions, feel free to write a mail to info@somebytes.net.